So I am Ivy Altomare. I am a medical oncologist and a clinical researcher and a co-founder of Rave Therapeutics. So Rave Therapeutics was formed in order to develop a topical treatment for a really prevalent condition called hand-foot syndrome, which is a side effect of a lot of cancer therapies, but in particular, a class of cancer drugs called VEGF inhibitors. And this is a really debilitating side effect. I have a picture of one of my patients with this condition. So as you can see, it's blistering sensitivity, and then in its worst, ulcers and necrosis of the hands and feet. And there really is no effective treatment for this condition currently. The only thing to do is to stop the cancer drug that is causing the therapy. So you can see that this is really an unmet need clinically, but also an attractive investment with huge market potential. So knowledge of the pathway of molecularly how VEGF inhibitors cause hand-foot syndrome in the hands and the feet led to the hypothesis that there would be a drug that could effectively manage this and interrupt the pathway. So that was patented at Duke, and I and other Duke team members are now, we have formed a company to take this into the clinic. So we were assigned a team of students, and the students were all in the business school, but from varied backgrounds. Some had a little bit of science experience, some were PhDs, and some had no science background whatsoever. And yet we were so impressed with the ability of these students to very rapidly understand high-level oncology topics and subjects. So that was really impressive. And they were able to tighten our pitch. They revised our pitch deck with all sorts of fancy graphics. They were able to use Bloomberg and other resources from the business library to really, really accurately determine what our market is. We had estimated that based on my knowledge of VEGF inhibitor use, but they got actual data of the number of prescriptions that were written, the number of patients that are affected, the revenue that the companies that make VEGF inhibitors report from year after year, which really allowed our investment pitch to be a lot stronger and a lot more accurate. And they also researched a few competitors that were around, and not only informed us about other companies looking at developing therapies in this space, but also what their patent coverage is, and also where they have gotten their funding and their investments. And so that was completely invaluable. And those were things that we as clinical researchers really weren't able to do with the resources that we had. The students were able to provide this in such little time. It was really remarkable, and they were invigorated by this experience. They did an excellent job, and several of them actually decided on the basis of this experience that they wanted to remain in the biology or biotech sector for their jobs. So I think it was a mutual benefit, both on the behalf of Rave's Therapeutics and the students that participated. The next step is really to get a solid investment in order to launch our clinical program. So that is where we are right now. We have had a successful pre-IND meeting. We know the few steps we need to do to go forward. We feel that we have a very strong team. We will be looking to expand our executive team, and hopefully we will be able to be in the clinic soon. So really what's holding us back right now is investment. We're really excited we have some strong preliminary data from pilot studies that we did at Duke to try to treat this horrible condition that patients are really suffering from. And we do believe that this is a great opportunity for investment, but mostly we just want to have the ability to do something about this condition and side effect for which right now there's no effective therapy. So of course, funding is always the biggest challenge. And we kind of got started in the time of COVID. So that affected things as well. I will say though, that we have been able to make a lot of progress in the last 6 months, even despite the COVID pandemic. So when we started developing this IP, our initial step forward was to actually formulate this therapy and optimize the formula. And that was going to take a long time and a huge investment. Through research that we did, we actually found out that a company out of Boston has already synthesized a GMP grade product that is identical to the product that we were going to develop. This team in Boston has this product, and they're developing it for a completely separate indication, and really had no knowledge of hand-foot syndrome or this side effect caused by cancer drugs. So we as a company approached this team in Boston, and because we are backed by Duke Science and by Duke clinical researchers, even though we're a virtual company at its infancy, we were able to get our foot through the door with this other company because of the Duke name. And so actually we have solidified a partnership. They are going to work with us. They have given us their GMP grade product. And so we have fast forwarded through a couple of years of development. And now we have a product that we don't have to make. We already have it. And we're ready to apply for our IND and launch our phase 2B. So it was initially a roadblock, but actually a lot of things worked out, even in the time of COVID. It has been really an amazing ride to do this, but also do this with all of the support that Duke offers. I think it's an incredibly supportive space for startups and entrepreneurs, especially those that don't know too much about business and have a science background. So the Office of Licensing and Ventures, they've been extremely helpful, extremely generous. We received free regulatory support, which enabled us to put together our pre-IND briefing package with the FDA. We have been connected with other physicians and entrepreneurs throughout the health system that have their own startups. So they've been giving us advice about pitching, about where to seek investors. And of course, the New Venture Fellow Program provided us with all of that help that I just mentioned. In addition, that was free. So those were things that really helped our business plan and our development. And as I said, our market predictions, but it was free. There was no cost to us. And we have been pitching to the Duke Angels Network. So there are just numerous, almost too many things to take advantage of that Duke offers when entrepreneurs are trying to start their company. I've been at Duke for 14 years, and this was a whole other side of Duke that I would have never known about. So I'm just really grateful to have had even if this doesn't succeed, just to know that that's really what an academic university is. It is, offering this kind of help and connecting people with other people that can help you. The scope of what is available is so much broader than anything I would have known. And you don't know unless you start doing it, what's out there. So it's a great experience to have, even if it winds up, we want to help patients and we want to get this into the clinic, but I have learned so much and I'm so grateful for everything that has happened, even if we never get to that end.